This week on Culture Q, celebs speak out for abortion rights.
President Biden is taking trans protections to the next level.
And a group of drag queens show their pride in the sky. What is going on? It is Andrew Wani here.
And I'm Cheryl Lazar. This is Culture Q.
And here are some of the highlights from this week in queer culture. I think it's pretty safe to say that we've all felt pretty devastated with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. But it does not stop there. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas then stoked the flames when he continued on the decision, saying the rulings that establish gay rights and contraceptive rights should be reconsidered too, and they were demonstrably erroneous decisions. Girl, you gotta figure that out. Or as Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot would say,
Clarence Thomas.
And yes, he's basically saying that this decision could impact same-sex marriage, as well as the right to engage in private sexual acts. Naturally, this has caused a lot of hurt, pain, and anger, and our LGBTQ+ faves took to social media to vent about it. Actress and legendary host Jameela Jamil discussed her choice, saying, "I had an abortion when I was young, and it was the best decision I ever made." Singer Phoebe Bridgers even revealed how she picked up an abortion pill at a Planned Parenthood before she went on tour, saying, "It was easy. Everyone deserves that kind of access." Tennis icon and legend Billie Jean King also spoke out and wrote an article in the Washington Post about how tough it was to seek safe abortion access even before Roe versus Wade. And of course, body positivity advocate and model Tess Holliday spoke about having an abortion after having 2 kids and being married. She doesn't regret it one bit and says it was the best choice for her family. Even queer icon Cher stepped in, saying if the tables were turned, she thinks men would want a choice in the matter. And as we know, Cher is very rarely wrong. And if you want to take action, here are a few resources for you. Hashtag Pledge to Support takes all donations and splits them evenly among verified organizations like Plan C, WRRAP, and the Afia Center and the National Network of Abortion Funds, which can also be found on abortionfunds.org. Another service is voteprochoice.us, which shows which candidates will best represent your interests come voting time. And the best thing you can do is stay informed, make sure you're registered to vote, and you have the information you need to make the right decision.
Moving on, we're happy to report some exciting news for transgender students. As anti-trans legislation continues to sweep this country, the Biden administration has proposed sweeping Title IX protections. The proposal was released as part of the 50th anniversary celebration of the landmark civil rights law. The proposed amendments will ensure that victims of sexual harassment, assault, or sex-based discrimination will receive crucial protections. And a little history lesson. Title IX was originally put into place to protect women and girls from discrimination. And by expanding the scope to include LGBTQ+ students, it will further protect our most vulnerable community members. In an official White House statement, President Biden had this to say about the changes.
That's why strengthening Title IX and promoting gender equality is a top priority for my administration. Every person, I mean every person, deserves a chance to realize their full potential.
Yes to all of that. And now let's get into the latest from trans icon Elliott Page. The 3rd season of The Umbrella Academy has hit Netflix, and fans were reintroduced to his beloved character.
It's, Viktor.
Who's Viktor?
I am. It's who I've always been.
That's right, number 7 is now Viktor Hargreaves, and the reintroduction was a nod to Elliott, the trans-masculine actor who plays the role. Elliott went on Late Night with Seth Meyers and discussed working with Umbrella showrunner Steve Blackman on his storyline.
So when we first talked about it, he seemed really excited about incorporating it into the show, and I feel proud of it and excited for people to see it.
Fans also took to Twitter to share their excitement, and you know what? Elliott couldn't be happier. He went on Good Morning America and spoke about what that response meant to him.
So far, it seemed really positive, which makes me feel happy, and and in terms of the representation and hopefully it meaning something to people.
Great.
Now let's continue with Vivian Jenna Wilson, the trans daughter of Elon Musk. Are you ready for this? Vivian recently filed a request to change her name in accordance with her gender identity only one day after her 18th birthday. Vivian told the courts, "I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form." Yikes. Well, Elon Musk has declined to give comment, but this 2020 tweet of his pretty much reveals it all. I absolutely support trans, but all these pronouns are an aesthetic nightmare. Yeah, I mean, pronouns are definitely more difficult than the baby name XAsh812. Thankfully, Vivian's mother, Justine Musk, has been more supportive. She took to Twitter after the news went public, saying, "I had a weird childhood," my 18-year-old said to me. "I can't believe I'm as normal seeming as I am." I said, "I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of myself."
Now, as we wrap up Pride Month, here's a roundup of the latest Pride events from around the world. In Oslo, Norway, "Bullets cannot kill love" was the mantra for those mourning the victims of a shooting just hours before Pride. Sadly, a 42-year-old man opened fire outside of the Air Nielsen Jazz Club, killing 2 and injuring 21. Though the official parade was canceled, hundreds took to the streets to march in defiance. They could be heard chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we won't disappear." Prime Minister Jonas Gahr attended the service, saying, "During the day, the city was full of people who wanted to speak out about sorrow and anger, but also about support and solidarity, and the will to continue fighting for the right of every individual to live a free life, a safe life." News of Pride disruption seemed to take over the headlines. In Beirut, a Pride billboard was vandalized after ministers allegedly ordered security to wreck LGBTQ events. The installation, called Blooming Billboard, featured thousands of flowers that made an LGBTQ+ pride flag. The theme for Beirut Pride was "Love Always Blooms," and their social media pages shared members' blooming stories. A rep from Beirut Pride said in an Instagram post, "We raised a billboard on the streets of Beirut to celebrate awareness about a Lebanese law that still criminalizes same-sex love, and that Beirut Pride will not stay silent. Our flowers were broken, but our hope for a future of equal rights is burning strong." And despite resilience, thousands united for parades in Warsaw. The parade normally takes place in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, but was canceled due to Russia's invasion. That led to a joint effort between Warsaw and Ukraine to organize a march in Warsaw. Let me tell you, it was a beautiful show of solidarity and rebellion.
Continuing with our Pride theme, to kick off the festivities in Columbus, Ohio, 2 drag queens got the flight of their life. Red Bull partnered with Stonewall Columbus to bring 2 queens to the People's Pride March and Festival. Little did RuPaul's Drag Race contestant Mo Hart and local Columbus drag queen Blonde Vanity know they would be showing their pride in the sky. The duo parachuted over the fest and marched with a giant 300-square-foot rainbow pride flag.
Itching for some fun queer content to close out Pride Month? Revry has got some great titles for you this week. And Daniel Webb hosts Parade Live at the Rose Bowl. Daniel Webb brings queer comedy magic and a stunning head of hair to the stage. Daniel describes his harrowing and slutty COVID-19 survival stories, rails against the foolish presidency, and sings songs about men that lie about their STDs.
So it's just me and my dog. Like, I'm no longer looking for love. I'm just looking for circuit parties and estate sales.
Host Parade is a celebration of life where Daniel proudly makes world history as the first queer man to openly perform stand-up at the Rose Bowl. Next up, Breaking for Whales will bring laughter and tears. It stars greats like Tom Felton, Wendy McClendon-Covey, and Tameen Sarzik. The feature follows the story of an estranged brother and sister who are brought together after their mother's recent death and her absurd final request to dispose of her ashes in the body of a whale.
Your mother requested the following: take my ashes and inter them in the body of a whale.
What the?
With no choice, they face losing their much-needed inheritance. They embark on a road trip to San Antonio, Texas, where they not only encounter an adventure, but also each other. For all these titles and so much more, you can stream them right here, right now on Revry.
Last week, we reported FINA banning transgender athletes from sporting events. And this week, we're happy to report one organization isn't interested in discrimination. And guess what? They're making our Culture Q inspiration. The German Football Associate of DFB has announced rules that would allow transgender, intersex, and non-binary players to decide whether to play on the men's or women's soccer teams. They even allow players to take gender-affirming medications without the fear of doping allegations. DFB diversity ambassador Tos Hiltzberger, who is openly gay, shared that this new regulation on playing rights will provide an important foundation to allow players with diverse gender identities to play football. Unfortunately, as we know, some opponents believe that having trans women in sports presents an unfair advantage, yet the science isn't conclusive on the idea. Collegiate swimmer Skylar Baylor, who shares great videos on the topic on Instagram, I follow him, he's awesome, says that a trans sports ban actually impacts all women.
At what point is a girl too tall to then be accused of being transgender? Too strong, too good, too fast, too masculine to then be accused of being transgender?
Germany +1, America -100.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's really great to see that progress in sports. And that's all for this week in Culture Q. I'm Cheryl Lazar.
And it's Andrew Wani signing out.
Thanks again for hanging out with us this week.
And be sure to join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live and always on demand, right here on Revry.